to, because I know you were struggling with that for a while, like trying to model and figure that out. So it's just take it easy this time, right? And
I
you'll
mean,
be
in reality, it ultimately came down to trying to find a reason to model. As philosophical as that sounds,
I mean,
but in reality, it's like I did them for what 3 and a bit years, and I kind of learned. I got to a point where I wasn't learning anymore. It was just becoming kind of a time taker, and you have to imagine that it's more than just models. It's learning how to not only design them, build them, but also kind of the rest of the stuff that comes along with it. Like, to a certain degree, I had my own like small amount of internet fame in my small corner of the internet, and there's learning that comes with that. Learning like the privileges that you get with that and the negatives that come with it. And so I felt like I had gotten to kind of a stale point, and what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go with it, just the avenue wasn't available to me, and so it just kind of washed away. And then doing my own thing, I quickly realized that building your own brand and getting people to care about it from essentially nothing is a lot of work.
yeah, it's hard.
You know, a
I
lot
kind of
of
got it.
work.
Yeah.
And I just for myself, I have come to the realization that there are a lot of very talented and dedicated entrepreneurs in the world who find that one thing that they would give everything to do and everything for, and I don't think I have that in me. Like,
Mm.
I don't think I could ever throw everything in my life off to do this one like very very specific thing. Like, I can't do that. And to a certain degree, I'm kind of envious of the people that can do that. You know?
Like the people, like for example, well, I guess well, maybe that's not a good example. The Chinese people that built that massive retributor, but like maybe somebody who there's a guy right now who's building like an 8-foot model of an 890 jump right now,
Oh shoot.
like 3D printed, but it's like holy shit, like you know, or that company that sells their models with CIG.
Yeah,
They were,
GRDF.
yeah, they were able to conquer that avenue somehow, which was probably very difficult, and they've happened to make it their living. So good for them, because that was must have been really fucking hard to do.
I mean,
Right.
to a certain degree, though, you can't discount the fact that the group in China and JRDF is more than one person, and that's kind of where my stumbling a lot of the time comes from, the lack of just manpower to do things. And
Hmm.
I think that I think that had I been more dedicated early on to forming a group and getting more people interested in becoming part of the process, as opposed to just me kind of brute forcing it through the entire time,
Hmm.
that might have grown legs and went somewhere. But at the end of the day, when I first started this, I was very much of the mindset that I had unlimited time and I could do anything. And as I've gotten older, I've just realized that that's a pretty poor mindset to come into projects with. And so I've done my
How
best
we
to temper my own expectations accordingly.
how we change with age, eh? God.
I'm getting old.
Ah, god damn it.
They're gonna have to wheel me to the Star Citizen retirement home, where they put me in front of the computer and say, "You get out there and you mine that quantanium."
God damn it.
That's awesome.
Speaking of impossible things, what could that be a future business model where these Star Citizen gamers. The game's just about to release, and so but everyone's retiring and going into homes, and
I was waiting for that part.
but it's a thing where the people who are living in the home, instead of paying rent, they just have to like earn UEC. So that and give it to the home, so that the home can then sell it on eBay in packages.
Oh no, is that the future? It might fucking be, dude.
Oh
Holy
man,
shit.
I got this whole
Oh, gosh.
gamer economy worked out.
God damn,
Woo.
some scary shit going on there.
Hey,
I don't know if I want to be part of that dystopian world.
dystopian world where I run homes for retirement homes for gamers.
You know what though? The best part about that is it's probably not that far fetched, to be honest.
You know what? In my dystopian home for gamers, if you put in a hard work of mining that Quantanium for me, I'll let you put together one model.
And Matt'll be the first one there.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
Hell yeah. No, you're 100% right.
I mean, Matt already has a bunch of them, so like.
Yeah, I know. I only got 3. I gotta catch up.
That's true.
Someday.
Yeah, you gotta catch up. You gotta get that stamp card.
I have 7 of them at my desk right now. 6 of them are Star Citizen ones.
Yeah, I got my big. I got the F8C, big one. 3 sent up to me.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
It's over here on my wife's desk.
Only one F8 has ever been made, and Emery's the one that has it.
Yay!
I mean,
I feel privileged.
in all reality, though, that will probably be one of the ships that I touch because it
It's
has
popular.
Well, so the model that was based on was the Squadron 42 Leak model, and as it has now come into game as something to show off to us, I know what the changes are that have been made since that model.
There's 2 more engines on the back.
It's got a center engine. The cockpit is longer.
Yeah, there's 6 engines.
You know, and I will update the guns to have actual guns instead of the like concept model blocky things that are on it.
But that was what we knew for so many years, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah. So the so I guess to go over what my plan is. So I have my backlog of models that I have created for many years, and I have come to the realization that in order to kind of slowly ease myself back into doing these, because I did genuinely have fun doing them, and I think there's some things that I can do with it now that I've learned from doing my own thing, and places I can go, and opportunities that might exist that require me to get back into it. And so what I would like to do is slowly go through some of my older models that had issues or weren't up to standard, and do some renovation projects, if you will. And so the first one that I have picked out is the Drake Buccaneer. It was one of the earlier models I did, and the final model suffers in one major way from that design philosophy that I used early on, which was more brute force. You can see it a little bit in the Prowler. The Prowler is a miracle that went together and looks as good as it does.
Yeah.
I think the whole solar system was in alignment, and the power of the gods were beamed down upon my house. The one I put that together, I think, in one go, and I believe it was a Saturday, and it was a straight 10 hours of assembly that I spent on that model. Like, I remember, yeah. I was so excited to be done with the model that I was like, I'm gonna put this together. And I sat down, a little starry-eyed on Saturday, and like, I'm just gonna throw this thing together. And it was the end of the brute force exteriors of models where I would kind of have exterior pieces held on by a hope and a prayer, And the Prowler has a very, very minimal skeleton in it, which requires the assembler to kind of do a little hope and prayer stacking of outer panels in order to go skeleton to skeleton. And like, if you didn't know it, you can't pick out. If I didn't tell you that there was a very, very small side to side discrepancy in my Prowler model, you probably couldn't tell it was there.
Look.
But it's yeah. So essentially the my Buccaneer model. I'm gonna burp here. There it is. My Buccaneer model suffers from. Actually, let me just turn this down a little bit more. There we go. My Buccaneer model suffers from the wings side to side. If you look at it straight on, it is very clear that the wings are... One wing is level and one wing is pointing down quite significantly.
Interesting.
So, actually, and I can show this. So if I go to the webcam... I don't know if either of you are watching the stream right now.
I'm actually logging into it right now. Yep, I'm watching it.
Realize, we're not watching.
It's backwards, so I'm trying to like point it at the camera. So let me see if I can very minorly make this thing look. So if you can see on the right side, the wing is actually in the proper position, and on the left side, it's just drooping down.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a problem with the fact that the whole wing assembly on this is basically, let's see if I can point to it. So the whole wing assembly right here is kind of one piece, and it's assembled and then put into basically a slot right here. And the problem is that slot really isn't supported by anything else. More hopes and prayers, and so it's there's a reason why the other wing sagged, and so, and in reality, this probably could have been done properly had I, like put a book under it or something, but I'm going to fix it structurally so that you can't put it together wrong and it looks perfect the first time. Some of the other things I want to do, now that I have a resin printer and can use my resin printer successfully, I want to start doing model prints with the resin printer, which means that I can do higher quality prints and stuff that looks better. And this model suffers from like really bad file tessellation, and this was done on a really old printer of mine, and it kind of looks like shit. And so I'd like to go over all the printed parts on this and add a little bit of detail back, as well as I believe the motors at the very least are going to have to get cut in half for the resin printer. And yeah, so I'd want to basically make them higher quality and print them on my resin printer. And then outside of that, some minor adjustments to the wood itself, and I want to put landing gear on it because I'm tired of setting models on McMaster car screw boxes that I have laying around in order for them to sit flat. And so I think landing gear would be a good addition to this. And and then I want to add the weapons to it. And so if we go to the CAD model, here's kind of my starting plugging away. So in terms of the weapons, I'd really like to do the three center ones. I don't know if I'm going to do the wing end ones. They're really small. Like size ones are
little dinky size
ones are dinky, and like just like measuring, that's like maybe a 3/4 of an inch long. It's a 20 millimeter for the international people among us. It's like a 20 millimeter long gun, and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm really that invested in having size ones on this.
The detail of it, anyways. Like that's the thing. Like, come on.
Well, the other thing is that, like, when you look at the types of models I make, like there's a distinction between where detail is and where detail isn't, and you could have this very detailed gun in a sea of just a piece of wood, and I don't think that's gonna look good. I think this would look good if it had landing gear and these 3 weapons were on it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So the models of the weapons that are on here are currently the in-game models for these weapons themselves. I'm going to remodel them. I do this with 99% of the models that I 3D print. And that's just because if you take a look at this, it's very complex. It has bits and bobs hanging everywhere, and if I tried to 3D print that out of the box, it's going to look like absolute garbage. And so I will be remodeling this from scratch, using this as kind of a template, but making minor tweaks here and there so that this will 3D print perfectly without support.
Okay. Now you can. You mentioned earlier you had an older printer. Now with your newer printer, do you have to build like the 3D structure around the structure you're actually building? Well, like printing it, you know what I mean? You have to 3D print stuff to support it while it's 3D printing. Do you still have to do that kind of stuff?
No, so that was kind of one of my things, is that I tried to get away from. I try to design stuff so that they don't require support material as much as possible. So a good example is like this engine nacelle right here. So this was the face that it was printed on, and while there was a little bit of support material that had to go in this little pocket right here, everything else on here, in general, prints without support material. This is actually kind of a bad example. This was a very early one of mine. But in general, if you look at the later things, they're generally not. They're generally printed without any sort of support material, which is nice because I can't be bothered to move support material.
So Drew,
what?
I was gonna say, can I put you on the spot and ask you a hard question?
Okay.
So one of the things, having been a connoisseur of your models, one of the things that struck me about the Buck was
Did I give you a Buck?
No, but I've seen it. I've held it. I don't have one, but one of the things I noticed was the ratio of wood to printed parts was exceptionally high for your style. And where I'm going with this is I'm kind of curious your thought process on making the whole cockpit 3D printed, because as far as I know, this is the only model you've done the whole cockpit 3D printed.
I mean, whole cockpit in air quotes. Yes. The Mustang comes close.
Okay.
The Razor's glass is all 3D printed. I think there are ships that have the glass portion that are 3D printed, but yeah. So like I had mentioned earlier, this was kind of an early model of mine, and I don't really know actually why I did this. I believe I know what happened, and I believe it was but right before this I did the Herald model, and the Herald model is entirely vertical pieces of wood. Like 99% of it is vertical wood, except for like the little winglet things, and there really wasn't any other way to do it because that ship is so thin. But it doesn't look great to me. It is a solid model. Like there is no, like I said, it's all vertical sheets of wood, so it is very massive in terms of weight. And there is little to no air inside of it, but it's just that, I don't know, that layered look didn't look particularly good to me, and so I think what I did is I jumped to the other extreme when I did this model and was like, okay, well, if I think that this is too narrow for wood, then I'll just 3D print it, because I can get some of that resolution back, if you will. So But yeah, so I mean, in reality, I could potentially be convinced to try to convert this to a wooden cockpit.
What I would say would be to do like the bottom, kind of the bottom, the L section of it as wood to increase the wood mod, but leave kind of
Yeah.
the upper panels of the cockpit in 3D print or some hybrid there. But like that spot you have like selected there, trying to convert that to wood, trying to just decrease the amount of 3D printing while trying to keep the important parts that give you that definition you're looking for.
Because I could definitely pull this.
Yeah.
Pull this wood panel forward.
Yeah.
You know.
I think
there's a number of things that could be done to improve this. You know, like that could be pulled forward, and then.
See, I think that helps. Just that alone, I think helps.
Yeah. Obviously, this is not going to be as easy as that, but yeah, no, I definitely think that there are things that could be done to improve that. Yeah, I would agree with you. Actually, that doesn't start to look better already.
That was the first thing that really struck me when I saw that, was just like this massive red cap on the end of it. And I just felt like it needed to be a little bit more wood.
Yeah, no, and and I think that's kind of the discussions that need to be had when looking at these older models and saying, okay, if I were to revise these today, what would I do to make them better? So I guess on that, I'm gonna start plinking away at this cockpit, because as much as landing gear is a major thing, I don't have a model for the landing gear, and I tried to get the model for the landing gear, but I failed. So I might have to do the landing gear from scratch, which won't be hard, but I didn't prepare any reference artwork. The other thing I could do is I could actually this piece on the bottom, I could actually convert it to some vertical wood pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, although they're little turned in, but you could probably fudge it a little bit with straight pieces. Or likewise, I could actually just have them glue into the cockpit. That's something to play with. So, for those that don't know, so I use the original models as tracing paper of sorts. So this is the original Buccaneer model, and this is my model on top of it. So, woo, I spoiled the surprise. But you know, there's a lot that obviously there is a lot that goes into this, but having the ability to model on top of the real thing takes a lot of the overhead of trying to play the what if game and the perspectives game, and like, okay, how big is this? Where does it go? You know, generally stuff looks correct in your mind's eye when looking at my models, despite the fact that you know, there is a loss of detail in the wood sections, but that's because it's where it's supposed to be and it's the size it's supposed to be, and your mind isn't saying, oh, that looks weird. So, alright, let's go look at this cockpit. So the one thing about this cockpit that's interesting, well, it's not interesting. CIG likes doing this, and I kind of hate it because it makes modeling it a pain in the rear, is that the cockpits, the cockpits, like the planes of the cockpit is here. So it's this panel is divided in two, yet the windows don't follow that dividing line, and they just do on a bunch of stuff. So if I can get this to come back, there we go. You know, you can see it right here, where again that panel like rotates mid window, not at the pillar of the window. So, you know, that's something that I've had to deal with a couple times, in the fact that, like, if I've previously done wood panels where I've laser engraved the window into the panel, but it kind of looks a little awkward when there's this seam and you essentially have you know, this like two laser engraved pieces with a little bit of a gap in them. there is the option that I've thought about it, and I haven't decided if like you would be able to pick it out. Is if I change the seam to the window. So if the window geometry stayed the same, but I changed the seam to this pillar here, if looking at it, you'd be able to pick out what I did. And I don't know. And I don't know if I want to try it.
I mean, it's small enough detail. I don't see why anybody would know. To be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I'm not.
I mean,
gonna be able to
like
figure it out
likewise, if I just keep this 3D printed, there is a weird cavity right here.
That's what she said.
Let's see. It's probably
Oh
gonna.
my god! I wonder if that's on your model, dude. Check it.
Oh, it probably is.
Is there a tiny little hole that you can't see? Like so tiny.
There is a there is a tiny hole. There is a tiny hole right there.
How big is it? Like a
It's
half a millimeter?
It's exactly the size it is in the model.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's
That is-
hilarious. Well, let's see if I can fix it. Nope. Is it
Good.
gonna be happy? No. I'll have to. I can fix it later. Okay, so we got this top panel, and I can pull this top panel forward. The one thing is that the top panel and the roof don't quite share a plane with each other. I could split it. I could split it so it's a separate wood piece. Actually,
Could you make it so that the wood just sets into the printed part there?
No. Well, yeah, I will, but the plane of this and the plane of that aren't equal. So.
Oh, I see. I see.
What I'm thinking I'm gonna do is.
Like a separate. You could do a separate piece.
Well, I'm gonna go back into the model and see if there's any reason why this piece has to be at that angle. Like I could just tilt it. It looks like there's a. Oh, it's part of this like big piece right here. Let's see. I wonder if there's anything underneath of it. Nope. As you can see from the air inside the model and the lack of this wing being connected to anything, there's reasons why my model has a funky wing. So I could actually, where does this piece want to? Man, my program's being kind of loopy tonight.
Lucky Baka.
Oh, dang it!
So it wants to cross right there. Did you just die in game?
No, I just took 2 percentage points damage from walking downstairs.
You stubbed your toe, bro.
I
That's what happened.
I thought they fixed that.
No.
I was running, but still.
Okay. I definitely RP walk a lot in the game now. I am in no hurry to get anywhere.
Well, I mean, because it takes
But-
you longer to get back to where you were. If you just take a little extra longer, you won't die, so it's worth it.
True, but I mean the I don't know. I enjoy the environment now of the game, and RP walking on every stair means you never take damage from stairs.
There you go.
It's a funny thing. I might just split this back here. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna split it. I'm gonna split it right here.
Split it. Split the difference.
Well, I'm just gonna take a guess at it. Okay. I wonder if it's not like an effect that the full buck model is in here. Okay, so if we cut this off, we can cut the front of this off. Okay, and then we create a new piece of wood that is going to live here now. We want it to follow. We want it to follow these lines. And then visually, we'll probably just keep the same gap going that we have here. So we've got a gap of, we'll just call it 75,000. Cool. So now we have our new roof piece, although I do need a little bit of gap so that the angle
like
of the wood
gap.
doesn't run into the other piece. So Emery, will you be acquiring any of the new offerings coming in what, a week?
I'm really excited. I have enough store credit and second Carrick laying around that I probably can make the new RSI chip for next enough. Sure.
Nice.
Unless it's cheaper, but I don't think it will be. I think it'll be around. It'll be close to around the same price as the Carrick, I think. It's pretty big looking, but not quite as big, so we'll see. Depends on if they have the new ship inflation price or if they. It depends. Like some ships should be more than they are, and some ships are more than they should be. So. Like,
True.
I mean,
Cutlass steel.
Part
yeah.
to wall.
The
Even
new
for an alien ship.
But the new spirit ships are cheap as dirt.
Cartual for an alien ship.
Oh yeah, no, it's
It's way overpriced.
Okay, but okay. Do you think, in the grand scheme of the game, which do you think is more overpriced for what it is, the Cartual or the Blade? Yeah, let me lay that one on you.
Oh god, they're both bad. I mean, particularly when you consider the Talon. I mean, granted, yeah, that's. I mean, 2 size 3s. They have those in common. But anyways, I'm stalling.
you digress.
Your decision will change the outcome of the world.
How much is the Blade again?
$275.
But guys,
original concept was $250.
You know what ship is really good for its price is that weird alien cargo ship.
The Blade might get it, just
Gat
barely
Tech?
there. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, that one.
The Raylan, the Gat Tech Raylan.
Yeah, that shit is dirt cheap for what it like.
I don't know. I think that with the Raylan, CIG told you exactly it's the problem it has, and nobody kind of realizes it now, and that's the fact that it only can accept smaller, like, internal cargo.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, we shall see, young Padawan.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's probably going to be a really cool ship, but I definitely think that in the grand scheme of shipping and cargo hauling, it's probably going to be a weaker offering for like general purpose usage. Like it'll probably find a niche that it works really well in, but
yeah, no, that's fair. But you know, I was thinking to myself, like, what ship, like, so actually I've been going through this. I have my second main account where I'm starting to build up a support account on. So I have starting to send ships over there from my main account and buy ships on that account that are support craft. So that are going to complement my main account. So should help with some of those issues CIG has in place because I'll have a nice big desk set up and I'll have 2 computers going, 2 accounts running. Might be able to overcome some of those little things, but we'll see.
True.
See how hard this game gets.
I mean, as far as my gaming history goes, I've never multi-boxed before, but Star Citizen is definitely going to be one of those games that I have to multi-box on. Like, just after getting a taste of it with doing it on the mole,
yeah,
I'm like, there's going to be so many opportunities to do this successfully in the final game that it's like, you'd be dumb not to do it.
Exactly, and honestly, I mean, so I've multi-boxed before. Back when I played Star Wars: The Old Republic, I had 4 accounts, but I used a program that was okay with the terms and conditions of the game because I talked to a mod. I'm like, if I use this program, will I get banned? He said, because I'm actually still physically there controlling one of the accounts, and the other 3 accounts are just mirroring my activity, it was allowed. So I played 4 accounts at once. I fought
Okay.
my own dungeon battles and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. But
Nice.
this will be a lot different than that because I can't see a game like this having something like that.
I definitely saw stuff like that in Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Because it was like, man, this is a game that people get really into.
Mhm.
And yeah, definitely. Because before that, like, outside of playing a lot of Ultima Online, and a few weeks of EverQuest 2, I really hadn't had any MMO experience. Like, I played World of Warcraft the week before launch when it was in beta, and that game launched, and I said, cool, I played my piece, and I have never touched it since. So
Fair.
I don't know if I missed something or if I got lucky, but it is what it is. So when it comes to like the ecosystem of getting good at MMOs, I'm definitely on the weaker end of the scale, just due to inexperience.
MMOs were my jive many years ago. Yeah, I know Star Citizen will be considered an MMO, but it'll be a different kind of MMO where there's no gear grind. It's gonna be different. Like I hate it. Like I used to be back in Star Wars Old Republic. I was part of the guild called Level Cap. They're still around.
Okay.
Star Citizen now. They're back, but I was in the org that we were responsible for all the world first kills and North America first boss kills.
Dang.
I was the second best Jedi Knight in that guild. I was never the best.
So you were a real Jedi Knight, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Well, basically, it was hardcore, but it was like 40 hours a week of practicing killing bosses and getting really good with timings. And it was horrible. It killed the game for me.
Okay.
Like I was in that for about a year, and then once we got the best gear, they replaced it with new gear. And I was like, we got to start all over again. I was just like, yeah, no. So I just started playing the game differently after that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, you know what?
I was going to say, Drew, you mentioned Final Fantasy 14, which we've shared our times in that. I did do end game in 14, which like is team jump roping. Like one person messes up and the fight's over. You just start over. But Final Fantasy 11 still, like for me, takes the cake with like the world dragon bosses that would take like an hour to an hour and a half to kill one. Just insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, honey, I got supper's ready. Yeah, I'll talk to you in like 6 weeks.
Well, and I left when they introduced what they called the jailer bosses in Sky. Like I hear, it was years I think after they were released before someone killed one, and it took the guild that did it like 17 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you can look it up. There's like a whole story on Otaku or somewhere that covers it. That game was just, the end game there was like the craziest I've ever seen, and I ran the second most prominent North American guild doing that content, and it was a full-time job. I was playing that game 72 hours a week. If I wasn't asleep or at work, I was playing that game.
Dang.
That was part of the issue. Like I had young kids back in the day, and I probably,
Yeah.
should have spent more time focused on them and less time focused on.
The quicker they grow up, the quicker they can help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they're old
But no,
enough
MMOs can be addicting. So
I'm done. I'm done with any MMO that has a gear treadmill. I'm tired of my gear being obsolete every 3 months and having to replace it. That's finally what got me out of Final Fantasy 14. I was done with the gear treadmill.
I kind of think that's what's killing any MMO for most people nowadays. I kind of feel like it is, because if you think about it, like people are starting to value their time a little bit more. They don't want it to just go to waste. Hence why I personally don't play Star Citizen as much as I do, because I want my time to be invested in progression.
Okay.
I'll test it sometimes, but
so just how Drew was talking earlier about those size 1 guns on the wing, looking kind of small. And just kind of like frivolous there. On my Scorpius, I just swapped out the size 2 gimbals for and they're Badgers, so 2 size 3 Deadbolts and 2 size 3 Panthers.
Okay.
My theory there is along the lines of I'm wanting to increase the pilot's DPS without sacrificing overall sustain. What I mean by that is when a fight goes long and you run out of ballistic ammo, you're done. So that's why I still have the 2 Panthers on there, because 2 size 3 Panthers are still nothing to sneeze at, and it's 80% of the DPS of 4 size 2s. So it feels like a decent trade-off, because what I gain are the 2 size 3 Deadbolts, and that really gives me like burst DPS. And I'm just thinking back to when Emery and I took on that Hammerhead, like, I would do these runs at it, but Emery would have more time, actually shooting at it because he's in a turret, and I would have very small windows, and so I kind of want that burst, and that's what the Deadlocks will give me. So anyways, I look forward to trying this out at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still
I'm not a fan of mixed loadouts, but I think here it could really work, because even if I run out of Deadbolt ammo at some point, I still have 2 size 3 Panthers to do something with. But really what this does too is I'll set them up in groups, so that like if we're just killing like a small fry like a Gladius or a Hornet, I'm not going to be shooting my Deadbolts then. I'm going to save that for when I'm trying to take out the Valk or a Hammerhead or anything bigger. That's my philosophy, at least. We'll see how it works.
So
it looks nice. It looks really nice. The bigger guns, though, look really good on the wings.
I can only assume that you are still a big fan of your Scorpius.
Yeah, I love the Scorpius. I mean, I pretty much save it for when I have a gunner, because it needs the gunner.
Oh, okay. I was just about to ask about that. Like, how does the gunner position? I mean, I haven't.
4 size 3s. I mean, yeah.
Sure.
Turret.
I guess I haven't turreted in, or I haven't been turret gunner in one yet, so I don't know like how it feels, if it's quick and nimble, or if it feels like it's being kind of claustrophobic on the back of such a... Because that's the thing, is like it's such a short ship that I feel like certain rotations will affect the turret a lot, maybe annoyingly so. But like I said,
but also the turret completely moves too, which you can really use to tactical advantage. I thought it was more of a gimmick, but Emery was really good about flipping under and really giving it the business to anything behind us.
No, I used the cool little niche feature it has actually to our advantage a few times. That saved our ass once, so it actually worked as advertised. I was surprised.
Much like the 600i, which I just completely blew off. I just had no interest in it. I just thought it was just a pointless ship and everything, and then I got in it, and I'm like, okay, I kind of see where this is going. Same thing happened to me with the Scorpius. I saw it, I'm like, it's just an X-Wing clone. I had just no interest, and then like I tried it out, and I was like, it handles almost like a saber, but it's a heavy fighter.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not Shaba.
So yeah, I like after that, I'm just gonna go get one. It's a permanent part of my lineup now. It's one of those few ships that's just a permanent part of the lineup now.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Now, so when do I get to see the model of it?
Well, I may have already started a model. It's one of the we'll just call it a false start. So yeah, I've started a model of it, but it definitely is nowhere near finished. So, I don't know. That's one of the things that could eventually get finished, I think.
You guys are gonna be pretty happy to hear this, but we got a second kitten.
Oh, I in my mind was hearing you say, "Oh, we're having another kid."
No,
Oh,
no,
gosh.
dude, it better not be. I can't do that in 2008 is when I stopped that.
I don't know. I could, you were like, well, they're telling me that NPCs aren't going to be as good as, I thought they were going to be. So we're going to need some more kids to fill in the ranks.
God damn it.
You start now and they'll be old enough to play by the time the game actually releases. That's how it works, right?
It could, yes. Could. Here, I'm sending 3 photos in our multi-chat of our kitten. His name is Coco.
Ooh. Well, kittens are always
But she's,
the
or,
cutest
yeah,
and
she's quite the hellion.
Got some young kitten energy.
So our older cat is just like, fill the fuck out, like attitude. She's like, no. So my kitten was walking up to her today. She was, well, not walking. She ran up to her. She got up on her hind legs and walked 4 steps on her back legs like a human, with her arm swailing around. I'm like, what the heck? She's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, look, I wish I could record that quick enough. It was beautiful.
Upload to YouTube, 10 million views. Emery's new vacation home.
Yeah, or just pay off the house I have now.
True.
Just takes one viral video, change your life.
All it takes is one that's the young kid motto these days is what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a streamer.
God, literally.
All you have to do is set up a webcam and shout into the void.
Yell at it, curse at it.
Yep. Play Minecraft. Instant 50 million views. That's how it works.
Rip.
So, alright, well I'm making the scoop on top. It has devolved from actually working on the cockpit to making more bits and bobs. I need to
Bobs.
Let's see, how far back does this scoopy thing go? Wait, does it really go all the way far back?
All right.
Okay, that's as far back as it goes. Alright, that's good enough for me. So now every Drake Buccaneer will have the scoop on top. And people will stop complaining that I didn't do the scoop.
Does that actually work for anything? Does that like fill its refuel?
I mean, it's probably the refueling port on the ship. I mean, you got these scoopy things over here. You got these scoopy things right here. Like, it's just, you got scoopy things up here. I mean, this whole model is just scoopy things. It's like how. I mean, obviously, big engines are thirsty for the vacuum of space. I mean, that's science. That's how it works. But
thirsty.
But like these things. I mean, I guess they're also engines. I guess I don't think thrust comes out of them, but I could be wrong. And then these scoopy things down here. This is probably the air conditioning. The space air conditioning.
I think CIG is going to cave in one day and give all the ships that scooping ability, because I think that's really dumb that a couple ships have that. I'm like, dude, it's 900 in the future. Every ship will have that. Come on. Like, why would some small little ship have it, and not some big capital ship? Makes no sense. I think so. That's my 2 copper on it.
Reclaimers need scoops.
Yeah, I'm so happy that the Reclaimer's gonna have functionality in 3.18.
Oh, that's right. So, I actually haven't watched any of I've seen very little content on the actual salvaging mechanic.
Tier 0, so it's just hull stripping, and then you have to manually load up the cargo boxes with the scrap, and it's cargo. Or actually, salvaging and cargo refactor are hand in hand. They have to release together, or else salvage won't work. Okay, so
Okay.
Looking forward to putting my Warbond Vulture to use.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do not. I
Drew's
do not
looking
own a
forward to it.
vulture. I'm not of the privileged class of vulture owners.
Well, I used it as a cheap prospector because you got a prospector as your loner, and so
True.
I had every intention to actually use it. It's an LTI Warbond original. I had every intention of CCUing it to a prospector, but then I decided I'm gonna keep it.
I will be interested in seeing how, if CIG does anything to diversify the, because I mean it feels like they're, mining and salvage are very similar to a certain degree, and so it would be interesting to see how they try to diversify those two professions as to not feel like they're the same kind of grind of like, go find thing, point weird future space laser thing at thing, get resources, go do some post-processing to turn resource into more profitable resource by giving up time, sell thing.
Well, I know. So refinery and mining go together like repair and salvage, because there's already a lot of people are talking about this, but repair like 0.05 is coming. Like, it's not even tier 0. It's like a little bit before that. It's you're going to be able to use the hull stripping to repair your ship's exterior in 318 as well. So that's kind of cool that they're actually putting that together.
Okay.
Nobody's talking about. I mean, so in a way, I guess it kind of goes with hull stripping and salvage and repair go together like mining and refinery do, I guess. That's how I see it. So there's going to be some differences, but I think at the end of the day, yeah, they're going to be very similar. They're point and click, get resource, blah blah blah. But I guess at the end of the day, it's the cost. Certain areas of the game, like say you're in Pyro, it'll be a lot better to salvage a ship for components and stuff than fly a system over to buy new ones. It might be cheaper, right?
True.
So there's going to be mine ore, because there might not be any ore nearby to then go make said thing.
I mean, that would be a fun profession in my mind if you had the ability to basically buy, like, people have ships that they can't afford to repair, and so you buy them off of them and tow them to your yard, and then you just have kind of like this fenced off place in space where you charge people to go in and they can, like, basically salvage what parts off of your basically graveyard of ships they want, and then
like a pick apart.
Pay them. Yeah, you basically make a space pick apart. That would actually be kind of fun.
It would be. I know what your new profession.
Space pick apart. Let's see. Well, I have managed to create a scoop. Look at that.
Drew yawning.
Yep.
Drew, youngly.
Yawning and scoopy things.
Actually, that's a nice scoop. 2 scoops of raisin.
Now I'm gonna cheat a little bit and I'm gonna extend it to put in this piece.
Excuse me.
But it's gonna be on top of here, and because I always forget the term. It's like greebles or greeblies or it's a term when, like, I see it most in sci-fi films when they're creating models of things, and it's just kind of random stuff used to fill in like an otherwise void, because if you're creating a sci-fi ship for a movie and you otherwise don't care about how it functions or where things are or why there would be parts here, you know, you can generally get away with populating parts of the ship with kind of filler stuff. And it seems like the ability to create that filler is kind of an art form, you know, as shown by the original Star Wars films.
Yeah.
Like the people that go through like the original Star Wars films and have dissected every model and identified what every like random component used to create these original models in ships in the movie is wildly impressive. Like the fact that people took the original lightsabers from Star Wars and dissected the parts that were used to make them, because that's just what they were. They were just like a kit bash of random crap.
Yeah, there's the power of the internet is an amazing thing. Put it that way. Like I think a collective hive of minds can really like figure stuff out if we want to.
The hive mind. Are you saying that this is the beginning of the Zerg?
Yes, of course. Very nice.
All right, so let's.
How much? Oh yeah.
God, he hasn't made what Sasha Barrett Cohen or whatever his name is.
Sussy Baka?
I think he's made a movie for a while.
Oh, the actor. Yeah.
Sasha Baron Cohen, something like that.
You know, you can once you made 4 or 5 movies, you can live off of royalty check.
I was gonna say, like, I would gladly just have the one film, make it big, go find a log cabin somewhere with good internet, and just
live
live
off
happy.
the monthly royalties. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now I would do merch royalties. You know,
There you
all the toys in Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might actually make this a separate piece. No, actually, I'm not gonna make a separate piece because it would end up being an infernal pain to print and then remove from the build plate. Because a small, thin part like that is gonna be super annoying. God, I got more yawns.
Stop yawning, man. Oh God. Oh yeah.
Should drink some tea.
You should drink some. Yeah, last time you drank some tea, you woke right the hell up. You were like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Oh yeah.
I remember that. You were like, "I'm falling asleep," and you drank some tea, and you're like, "I'm ready for another 6-hour stream."
Heck yes.
Huh.
Dude, the power of tea. I have like a full drawer of tea at work.
Nice.
Like if 2 o'clock rolls around, I'm starting to feel the slog, man. Nice big cup of tea. And then I'm back on the job. All right. How am I gonna do this?
By the way, that's all still good. I take it.
What? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Since we talked last, okay, that's good.
Yep. No, it's just
Good,
kind of, you know, economy stuff. But what can you do?
Proved yourself, obviously enough.
It'll become the meme of like, stop worrying, keep modeling. Get back to the minds of CAD. These models won't make themselves.
That's
All right, let's see. I need here.
saucy baka boy. Alright.
Oh shoot. That component is slid to one side. I am discovering it is not centered on the ship.
The shit today?
So let's create my fillets. Cool. And then I'm assuming this is like a hatch or just
Oh man, yeah, there's rule of cool shit. Yeah. I wonder if that'll go away now that that one concept artist is gone.
Why am I forgetting his name? Crap. I can picture him.
The quiet guy.
Not John Crew.
Paul Jones.
Paul. Yeah.
Paul Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. He loved the rule of cool, so we'll see if that still applies going forward with.
So essentially, everything's gonna become Elite Dangerous.
I fucking not.
I mean, I think it's as he says in his like farewell video or post or something that I watched or read from him, where he's like, you know, there's a lot of really talented people at CIG, and I think that they'll continue on the work just fine.
Continue his legacy.
So I combined these two, but I don't know if this is the way to go. Yeah, you know, I might live with that. I'm gonna live with that. I've made my choice.
You're sticking to it?
Making mistakes. Actually, I can make this a little bit higher. There we go. That makes me a little bit happier. Cool. Sweet. I like that a little bit better. Okay, cool. I have a scoop. I
like it.
I also have this bump up here that I kind of want to do
You
something
can get a
about.
doctor to look at that for you, but then
I could make it part of the scoop. More 3D printing.
gosh.
I might just do like a piece of wood. I might actually just do like a half thick piece of wood. That might be something that might actually just be the way to do it. Okay, let's put this. Let's see. Where does this piece come down? Oh, perfect. So have you picked anything else up on the for the recent Steam sales?
I forgot about the Steam sales. Damn it! Probably a good thing I didn't.
I mean, I just get the emails, and they're like, all these games you have on your wish list, and I opened the email, and I'm like, oh yeah, I wish listed things that probably shouldn't be in emails on my work PC.
Oh!
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna shut that email really quick.
Nice.
It's like note taken. Steam wish list needs to be more finely curated. AKA Steam should stop sending me messages about it.
How about some Doki Doki girls?
You know, I never played the DLC for that.
Oh.
I heard it was good. So, well, I heard there was just more backstory stuff. I do find it kind of interesting that like Dan Salvato, the guy behind that game, was like, the next game's coming in like 2020 or something, and then that year passed, and then we're like, okay, where is it? And he's like, well, you know, it'll come when it comes, and it's like, well, that's a 180.
Yeah. What about Honey Pop or Honey Pop?
I mean, those games keep coming out.
Yeah.
They have what,
Your
2?
boss is like, your boss walks by, he's like, hey, I play that too. Oh god.
they have 2. I mean, they have I think 2 Honey Pop games now, and then one like Honey Cam, which
God.
I mean, to be fair, like the Honey Cam is just a clicker game, and Honey Pop is just a match 3 game. So, which in all reality, I like match 3 games in general. So if only the real world of dating was as easy as a match 3 game.
Mirror is still probably the best one I've played. That was a good one.
Drew, you will meet some whammon someday.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna go play some Subverse. That game's coming along nicely.
Speaking of women, you're gonna go what?
Oh yeah, is that the deck builder one?
No. It's the one. Who's working on it? That's the group. It's the space combat with RTS as well in it.
Oh,
You
I've probably seen it. I probably haven't seen it.
you'll know. For some reason my mind is blanking on the group that's putting together. It's not 3D effects. It's the people that do the super high end 3D CG.
Huh.
Just totally escaping me. They've been around for decades. They have a huge site. Well, not decades, but years. Yeah.
I don't.
Studio FOW. My gosh, there we go.
FOW. Oh yeah. Okay.
It's their game where it's incredible actually. It's like Deadpool level comedy, and the writing is actually really good. I mean, it's totally like just yeah.
I may end up hating myself for mixing wood thicknesses, but here we are.
Drew's going dangerous.
Well, because now I have to pull out like a different piece of wood and chuck it up, and
Yeah.
my laziness knows no bounds.
I love it. It's like I love building models, but I'm fucking easy.
Just to throw it out real quick, but in the subject here, I will say like for a asteroid style bullet hell game, not like a scroller bullet hell, but like you can go in whatever direction you want bullet hell. Really good, fun combat.
Okay. I may have to check that out.
I mean, even in its current state, it's worth the money. Even in its current state, there's just enough. There's a lot of good content right now in it.
But is it as good as Star Citizen?
Star Citizen creates its own bullet hell game.
I mean, I'll admit it's interesting. Like, 75% of the combat in the game, maybe 66%, somewhere in there, is like the spaceship stuff, which is a lot of fun. And they started trying to do like different things with it, not just fly around and blow up ships, but like one of the couple patches ago, they basically did like a dungeon. It's like a maze, and there were things you had to like go into stealth mode and sneak around and not get caught. And so they're trying to do different things with the space combat, which I think is pretty cool. But I think it's interesting that they have this like arcade style space combat, and then they, for kind of, I don't know what, content diversity, you do have like real-time strategy sections where you have your pieces on the board and you tell them what to do, kind of a la tactics kind of stuff.
Interesting. Huh. Let's see. Almost. I think I'm spending too much time optimizing. I've fallen down my own rabbit hole of min-maxing modeling.
Rip. Matt, you're the closest to him. Go save him.
I get a knock on my door 30 minutes from now. It's Matt. He's like, Drew, stop modeling. Go take a walk. You don't need to make it perfect.
Go crumble cookie, Drew.
Drew, go play some Honey Pop.
God. And then Drew just goes, ooh.
I'm gonna become a Honey Pop streamer.
I mean, I'm sure you'd find that niche that worked well.
I'm pretty sure it's a game that's banned on Twitch anyway, so.
Oh, of course it is. They can do ear licking and other stuff on there, but not.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm gonna raise the game. I'm gonna go for the hot tub modeling stream.
Sit in the hot tub and build models, dude. Yes, that would actually probably be a thing. People would, and then but have a beer though, like a nice dark beer and
absolutely.
Oh, dude. Actually, that's actually not a horrible idea, Drew. Just saying, it's not a horrible idea.
Matt, did you get your hot tub yet?
No, still kind of in the planning stages. We gotta do a roof this year. Ugh.
Oh, really? Did it get damaged from the windstorms? Or?
Oh no! It's just it's time
Okay,
before
okay.
bad things start to happen.
Yeah.
Preventative.
Oh, okay. So you're just replacing the entire roof?
Yeah, reshingle the whole thing, rip it off, put it on.
Okay.
You'll probably need at least three. I'm gonna guess 3 sheets of plywood because we have a pretty new house and we still have to replace 3 sections of our roof, even though the roof was pretty good.
Dang.
Yeah, just there's always stuff that gets through. So.
Well, I will design my house to be better. It's gonna have my roof's gonna be just poured concrete foundation.
Well, I was gonna say just build your house of poured concrete and then have a steel roof with steel beam structure. And if you can never have a house fire.
I'm still kind of envious of a long time ago I toured, and I say that in air quotes, a guy's underground house, and it was really, really cool. And I recognize that there's a lot that would go into like maintaining it and whatnot, but man, was it just cool. The story is that my friend and I were riding mopeds, and his ran out of gas, and so we're like, okay, well, let's just go see if like one of these houses has gas we could just borrow / take. And, I mean, if you borrow, yeah, air quotes. It's like, well, I can't give you back the gasoline you lent me, but so we end up going to this guy's house, and it just happens to be an underground house, and he's like, well, you guys like a tour? And we're like, hell yeah. And so like a very interesting concept. The entire roof is like 2x4s that are on end to create like the structural support for the dirt on top of the house, as well as to seal it in. And but like it, like obviously you don't have any windows, and it feels like you're in a basement in the entire house. It's the strangest sensation. And then you walk outside and you're like, oh, that's a dirt hill with like a window in it and a door. But I mean, real cool house. I mean, he was an older gentleman, had a lot of nice artifacts of his travels, if you will. And
I love your cautious words. He had his stuff.
He had crap everywhere. I was kidding.
It was a fucking freaking hoarder.
No, he so sadly I know that he passed away quite a number of years later. This happened probably close to 17 years ago, and I want to say about 10 years after that he passed away. And I only know about it because it was kind of a big thing, because his house got basically dug up so that the lot could be repurposed for an above ground house.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense, you know, like a niche house like that, you have to have kind of the right buyer who's willing to understand the risks and rewards of that kind of a house. And he just, you know, I assume the family found nobody, or just didn't want to deal with it, and so but yeah, I got dug up, and real cool piece of history, but you know, what can you do?
There was a old town I used to live at, not far from here. Used to have an old World War II bomb shelter, and it's gone. They ripped it up years ago. It's no longer there. It's just flat ground. Nothing there. They filled a big hole in. It's like, man. Shame. I toured it once as a kid, so I did get the side of it.
Interesting.
Back in the early 90s.
Back in my day.
I think it was just after the Iron Curtain fell, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think it was 92 that I got to see it.
Huh.
So it was just after the Cold War ended, yeah. So I think that's why they allowed us in there. They're starting tours. Because it was still a operational bunker.
Yeah, they're like, well, we got no other use for this now.
Yeah, no. So actually, now that I think about it, I never thought of that until now. I was like, dude, that was back in '92, maybe '93, but yeah, the Cold War ended in '92. So, right, '92?
I don't know. I was
I don't know. It was around there.
I wasn't very old at that point.
You're what a twinkle in your dad's eye.
Shit. Or other things.
Or a lustful thought. Okay, I'll stop. Sorry.
Less wholesome thoughts.
Lustful thought. Your poor mother, man. Jeez.
Poor mother then, poor mother now. She has to deal with, she has to deal with me now. Back then I was just a little shit, but now
you're a big shit.
Now I have an adult income and can do more shitty things.
It's like, son, why did you
Drew, why did you invest in that Star Citizen crap?
Do they know about that?
Oh yeah, they know.
Oh, okay.
Mostly because my brother told them, but.
Thanks, Jonathan. How about shut the fuck up next time?
Some brother you are.
Yeah, it's like, by the way, yeah.
Oh,
they know how much you spent though.
Yeah, no, it's all family knowledge.
Oh yeah, I mean, my whole family knows too. Like my wife and kids, they all know that.
Well, yeah, you have a wife and kids.
I mean, I didn't have to tell them.
I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I don't know. That I feel like that's different to a certain degree in my mind. Just
absolutely, yeah.
Because it has a direct effect on more people than like just yourself.
Yeah, well, for sure.
As
absolutely.
in, when you buy that new fancy ship, you should let your kids know so they can be excited to fly it when it becomes flight ready.
Someday you will inherit the ship.
Someday the grandchildren's grandchildren will be finally playing Star Citizen Release 1.0 and be flying old great-great-grandpa Emery's ships that he bought.
Imagine the amount of freaking, like, if it was, the game didn't come out for another 20 years, imagine the amount of just concept ships. Like,
yeah, but that's kind of a cool idea, because at that point in 20 years I'd be retiring and then be like, awesome, now I have all the time in the world to play Star Citizen.
I mean, me too, but like, I don't want to have to worry about buying another, like imagine the computer it'll have to run on, because they're gonna want to keep it, obviously, like, modern looking.
Well, sure, but I mean, like, why are you complaining about something that you're gonna automatically do? You're gonna automatically upgrade your computer anyways, so it's not like this giant thing of like, oh, woe is me, my poor PC is gonna be out of date. It's like, bitch, you're gonna buy that NVIDIA 10 Infinity Ti when it comes out.
Probably. Who am I kidding? Right, Matt? Who am I kidding?
Hey, Matty, have you seen my cutting away at the cockpit?
Yeah, I've been watching it. Looking good.
We'll see how far this goes, but I'm liking it so far. I gotta figure out kind of how I want to deal with it.
It feels more integrated and less like it's just stuck on the end.
Yep.
That's fair.
Yeah, it doesn't make the 3D prints look so clustered.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the other side. Actually, I'll do this properly and split the cockpit and then mirror it when I'm done.
Ooh. Ooh, yeah.
But the good thing about doing this is that it shortens the overall cockpit length, because as you can see, I had a plug-in here that interfaced with the wood to give it support, and that can come back a long ways because now I have the wood interfacing with the plastic a lot further back. So this will just make for a better print.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you a question about. So when you first started models, what, 3 years or guess 5 years ago now, 5, 6 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Like the technology difference in 3D printers. That's gotta, even if you just start now, none of your models would even look like this. Like it kind of.
No, I'd say, I mean, outside of the generic difference between FDM and resin printers, which, I mean, there were resin printers back then, they were just more expensive. But in general, I would definitely say that, now isn't really, outside of printers that can print a little bit better quality and are way more reliable, and more readily accessible. I can't really say that there would be a huge difference in what I would do. The resin printer obviously is going to increase the print quality substantially, as well as a resin printer has more capabilities of printing overhangs, as in it can print like perfect overhangs, whereas the FDM would struggle without support. And so I think that will change a little bit of what I model, but in general, I think it'll be relatively the same or similar.
Quicker now though? Like, are they print faster? Like, are they more accurate?
Well,
maybe?
sure, but I mean, like, even under the guise of like, okay, they print faster, that doesn't change how I model.
Yeah, good point. Maybe changes like got one more model done in the same amount of time.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't think I was ever waiting on parts. It was more, if modeling a ship takes like 50 to 100 hours, then, waiting 24 hours for something to print is not that hard.
Makes sense.
Okay, so
I've been really considering getting into a 3D printer when the kids are gone, like just
when they're
start.
gone.
Hmm?
When they're gone, don't touch Dad's crap.
Well, no, I'm just because like I don't have the money and time to invest in that right now. But like, when it's just my wife and I, and her and I get back into our hobbies, she'll be doing a lot more hobby stuff once the kids are grown up too. And I'm like, you know what? So should I? So I'm thinking about picking up a 3D printer someday, just a little one, starting learning all the newbie shit, learn how to calibrate it and temperature, timings, and whatever.
Well, it's a good hobby. Definitely, you two can start your own line of Star Citizen models.
No, I would probably be building like just stupid shit for my shelf or something. Just little ships, a little little handheld things, not stuff I put together. Maybe not for many years. I have no desire to build models because I can't design like you. I don't have like what you're doing right now. I can't do that.
But that's the attitude of a quitter.
No, it's the
get
attitude of knowing my limits.
Yeah, but what are limits there for? To be broken through.
Yeah, true.
I am the motivational speaker of this event this evening.
You are.
Let's see.
They've already gone for 90 minutes. Like it's just cruising by.
Yeah, we got a few more. Oh,
I like what you're doing though. Trying to change that.
My stats timer like stopped working properly. Okay, that's funny.
YouTube or Twitch.
I don't know what it did or why it freaked out. It's just stuck on like an hour 5.
Maybe the world ended 25 minutes ago and we just haven't found out.
Did it end? Yeah. Sweet!
Yay, no more taxes!
Yeah, wee, freedom!
Yay. Hey Matt, what are you gonna do now that the world's...
What do you want to do now that the world ended?
Yeah, I don't know.
We can't entice you with the world ending.
Man, I remember back when COVID hit, back when we got we were just 2 years into our new vehicle at the time, and the Ford dealership called us, and they're like, due to all this stuff happening, everybody's getting an automatic 3 months of deferral payments, and we're like, oh, okay, cool. And then the guy on the phone, he's like, by the way, good luck, and just good luck, and then he hung up, and I'm like, god damn, what the fuck? I was like, is the world ending? Like, what is happening? It was just weird. Like, he was just like, good luck, you guys. Just be safe. It's like,
So
okay.
was it like you just got the deferral payments, or was it something you had to say like, yeah, we
well, yeah, we
that?
want it. We opted for
okay,
it.
okay.
We were like, yeah, well, we don't know what the future's going to bring in the next few months, so let's tuck away a little bit of money and just pay this later if we can. So that's what we did. Well, you never know.
That's funny.
I just thought it was funny though. The Ford guy was just like, good luck, everyone. Like the president of the United States or some farewell message. Like, oh god.
My
Car
fellow
paper.
Canadians. In these
Today's a
trying
dump.
times, the natural maple syrup reserves have dried up.
Actually, that
Therefore,
would be a national tragedy, by the way.
I was gonna say we're declaring a national state of emergency for Ottawa and British Columbia.
Oh, you guys know about the maple syrup heist, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You all know that it's.
I'm trying to decide how the front end of this panel should look in order to best mesh with the ship, because the problem is that the end of it is on the seam line right now, and if I bring it any far further to match the I guess it doesn't, it dives away. It might not actually look that bad.
Looks terrible.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Just kidding.
I might just continue it out and see how, because the problem is that obviously the cockpit dives away at this point, but it might not stick out far enough to where I really care. So let's go on the assumption that I don't care and see what this looks
Man.
like.
A lot less stress if you don't care.
Of course the Buccaneer can have 18 size 5s. I don't care.
And I can't, it's still called a light fighter. It just kills me.
What, the size 4 to size 3s and 2 size 1s?
Yeah.
But you gotta remember, it takes like 2 hits, 3 hits, and it's like the TIE fighter. It takes like 3 hits and it's down.
I don't know, those AI bucks can sure take a beating.
Dude,
Supposed to be.
the Cutlass can take a bit of a beating now.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you got to get your value out of that Cutlass steel somehow.
Just like a regular black actually seems to feels beefier. I don't know, the way it feels to me.
Got to appeal to the masses that own their Cutlasses. All right, where the hell is the break in my line?
Cutlass, don't go
There it is.
back.
Sometimes when you cut less, you cut more.
Thumb.
Oh, you
Doo-doo.
piece of crap. Okay, come on. Let me move this line. There we go. Okay. Now I have to go fix. This is gonna be an infernal nightmare, but whatever.
Eternal nightmares. It's what we do best. It's gonna be your fever dream tonight, Drew.
Dreaming about the Buccaneer.
Okay. Wake up in cold sweats, yelling, "No, Chris Roberts!"
Chris Roberts, how dare you sell a Cutlass steel for that much money?
Yeah.
Thrashing around in my bed.
Gosh. It's like your uwu pillows on the floor.
My uwu pillow.
Or what is it called? Wait, no, a waifu pillow. Sorry.
Waifu pillow, hell yeah.
I should get one, just cause.
For the meme.
For the wife, yeah. Be like,
For the
she'll be like-
wife.
She'll be like, "You're such a dork," and then she'll use it probably half the time.
So that looks better, but I don't like it. It's better, but I don't like it, and that's the problem I have. Maybe if I thickened up the railing underneath the upper window to where it meets the wood, so that you kind of had this nice homogeneous line that goes all the way from top to bottom.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Let's actually see what that looks like. So if I follow this line here, follow it down, so it hits there, and then let's just hypothetically say that this is that, and we go that. It's not a ton, but it might be something, so we'll find out.
Excuse me.
I definitely missed that. So if we're looking at this from the side, then this could be closer there. It's a little bit better. I don't hate it as much. Maybe if I just made it a little bit deeper, I might be okay with that. Come on, there we go. So that's better. Maybe if I did this and then just radius this edge and called it good. That might end up being the best that I can do. Well, I don't hate it as much anymore, and I would chalk that up as the win.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
But I'll probably need to massage it a little bit more and see what comes out of it. Because the other thing is that, like, there's this piece right here that, so, shoot, I grabbed the wrong panel. So, let's see, this needs that. Actually, no, I'll just leave this for now. Yeah, I would say that this is already looking better.
Mm-hmm.
Looks cleaner, that's for sure.
Yeah, the cockpit's less kind of like in your face.
In your face.
Cool. Well, I am definitely gonna say that I'm getting to a point where staying awake is
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
getting harder and harder. You know,
We're getting old, gentlemen.
I don't know if it's just getting old. It's more of a, like, my work schedule is earlier at this job than it ever has been for many years, and so I've just learned to be a morning person. But man, staying up late just gets harder and harder.
Well, since I've been bus driving, I don't stay up nearly as late anymore. Dude, man, I used to be up until 1 or 2 all the time. Now it's like 10 o'clock sometimes in bed. It's like 9 o'clock your time. So yeah, there's nights where I'm like in bed, like
there have been
super.
I was to say there have been a couple nights where, like, I get home and I'm like, man, I feel like I'm probably gonna get really like dragging really quickly, and so I have a cup of tea. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then an hour later, I'm just like, all right, it's bedtime.
Yeah, I've done that too. Like, especially, I get it. It's age, buddy.
Maybe, or I don't know. It's I feel like I have to unlock the secrets of
We
getting
don't
the
have
most out of my day.
the adrenaline of like excitement of doing as much as we used to be anymore. I don't think. I think that
True.
comes with age. It's like you could stay up for another 4 hours a model, and maybe 10 years ago, Drew would have been like, "Yeah, hell yeah." Now it's just like, I'll do some more another day.
True.
It's not going anywhere.
True. But
All right, good night,
like
gentlemen.
Yeah, no, yeah, you both have a good one. I'm definitely gonna turn in here and call it the end of the stream. And yeah, hopefully next week I'll be back to keep working on this model.
Sounds
Cool.
good.
Sweet.
Cheers.
We'll have a good evening, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
See you later.